you guys for all the support that you guys been offering on the channel. Really does mean a lot to me to know that you guys are supporting the channel the way that y'all are. So keep it up, keep up the support, and I'm gonna keep grinding out the content. But regardless of that, today starts day 1 of the quarantine within my state. Obviously, I live in North Carolina, and today, effective at 5 p.m., starting for the whole month, we're going to be under quarantine, under curfew, or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I'm going to try and, get some good quality content out, and this should be fun. So we're going to be doing a story time episode for this video. Basically, I guess I'm just going to tell, some stories about, my life, some things that happened to me in my life, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. If you guys want to see more of these, click that like button, and I'll make sure to drop another episode or live stream or whatever, if you will. Alright, so we got a person watching the video. What's up? I appreciate y'all stopping by. So I'm gonna tell you guys the story about my JROTC career, right? So JROTC is Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps. If you guys didn't know, it's sort of like a military entrance type deal in high school, where they, teach you the traditions and the customs and the courtesies of, the military, right? My high school is Army or whatever else, and, obviously, playing Call of Duty, it got me used to the rank structure. I always wanted to know about the rank structure. Learning about it was probably my favorite thing. My favorite rank was honestly Corporal. I just liked the way it looked. It was pretty dope looking to me, and I know that's kind of weird, but regardless of that, so I'm in 9th grade, right? I just started high school, and I walk into my first period class, which was math, and all of a sudden this guy just walks in, and he has this this uniform on, and I'm like looking at him all kind of weird, because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know it was, ROTC or whatever else. So I'm looking at him, and I'm like, hey man, what class is that? He was like, it's, JROTC. I was like, that sounds pretty cool. So I had to wait my, I had to wait to take it my 10th grade year, because I didn't have, time to go ahead and sign up for it my 9th grade year. So I waited until 10th grade, signed up for ROTC. We had this big guy who was our battalion commander. His last name is Fox. He's in the Air Force now, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, so big buff guy. I mean, had like this crazy command voice. Like it was just wild, and just the overall experience of me joining ROTC, started when, he walked in there. This guy was in ROTC. He was the battalion commander at the time, before he graduated. It just got my eye interested. A lot of people probably don't know this about me, but basically, my great-great-grandfather was in the Marines. He served, well, no, my great-great-grandfather served in the Irish Republican Army. That's where I get my Irish background
Deploy beacon online.
And then my grandfather served in the Marines. I think he done 20 years as like a gunnery sergeant or something, or a master.
Target located, check range and mill.
And I guess just the translation just passed down to me. Like, I mean, it, transitioned to me wanting to join the military. Not just because it was a family tradition or whatever else, kind of, sort of, but I just, I wanted to challenge myself, you know what I'm saying, physically and mentally, and ROTC really helped me out, like, not just learning the rank structure, learning traditions, customs, courtesies, and all that good deal. So, yeah, basically, I reached the rank of cadet second lieutenant in ROTC, but
was effective.
I was, you could say, kind of demoted from my position to where
Target located.
I
Check
had
range
to
and mill.
be a cadet sergeant first class because I was on my way out of high school. I was about to graduate,
Priority
and
tasking request
Chief
received.
didn't
Snipers
want
to
me
transport
having a
positions.
position
Leaving AO.
that I was gonna vacate anyways. So I was a platoon sergeant slash platoon leader. I spent more time with the platoon than the platoon leader did because he was in the classroom doing stuff. Yeah, so held that title of cadet sergeant first class for, you know, the rest of my ROTC career. I got like 7 or 8 rows of ribbons. I got all art pins or whatever else. Was on drill team. I done color guard for a little bit, just a little bit. Done Raider team for a little bit, but I didn't really like it.
You can play at that
where
game.
my heart was at. So that's just my story about joining ROTC right there.
Leaving
Next
RCXD.
story that I want to move on to is probably summer camp. So summer camp in ROTC is basically like almost basic training, right? You kind of wake up early. I think we woke up at like 5 o'clock, 5:30 to do like PT or whatever with our, you know, company or our platoon or whatever else. Met a lot of really good people. That was over, dang, that was like almost 10 years ago now that I look back at it. It's kind of crazy to think that almost 10 years ago, you know, I started my ROTC journey, which, you know, transformed me into the soldier that I am now today. It's kind of crazy. But summer camp was really fun. Got to learn orienteering or how to use a map and a compass and all that. Done some rappelling, some land survival. You know, it was really fun, and met a lot of interesting people. Got to see a M249 for the first time. We were in the classroom, you know, taking some notes on what was going to be going on for the next day. And all of a sudden, I was told to go get something from this ominous room in the barracks in Fort Jackson in South Carolina. And I walk in there, and I see this big machine gun, and I'm like, holy crap. And, you know, Chief, he was, you know, I guess he was observing because he knew I was in there, I suppose. And he was like, yeah, Lowry, that's a 249 right there. You know, if you decide to join the military, you'll use it, and trust me, I've carried it, I've used it, and it was a pretty fun experience. But regardless of that, that was just a story of, you know, me going to summer camp, learning a whole lot of stuff, reached, you know, I was probably top 5 or top 10 in PT in my class for summer camp, and I was trying to get this dude right here, but my teammate just got in the way, and I got shot from behind. But regardless of that, though, summer camp was pretty lit, and got to see a 249 for the first time, right? So my next story will be about how I almost dropped out of high school. So let me be clear, right? So
Prophet requesting UAV tasking.
at this point in high school, I want to say my senior year, I think I had I think it was 30 credits already. You had to have 32 to graduate. I already had 30, so I was already on track to graduate, but I still needed to pass math because it was like a required class or whatever else, because that's part of the state curriculum or whatever. So I'm you know, 2 weeks away, 3 weeks away, roughly, like a month from graduation, right? And teacher walks up to me, and he's like,
Confirming kill.
I know you're trying very hard in my class, but you're failing right now, right? I was sitting at a 60, I want to say a 65 or a 68 in his class. Math has just never been my strong suit. I honestly hate math. I can't stand it. And, yeah, I went home. He gave me a packet to do, to bring my grade up. And I went home and I done it. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that gameplay, though, with the Rampart. me rocking the diamond camo on it. Very rarely I use the Rampart 34 and 10 for that final gameplay, so I hope you guys enjoy it. But yeah, so I get the packet. He says, you know, Jordan, just take it home, do it, and it was like a 5 or a 10 page packet. Like, I'm talking about, this thing was thick. Like, when I say it was thick, it was like dang on Cardi B thick. That thing was like thicker than a pile of grits, basically, right? So I go home and I do it, and I'm like, Mom, you know what I'm saying? I want to quit high school. I want to drop out because I'm failing math. I can't do it. I can't take it anymore, right? She was like, no, you're not. If you drop out of high school, you will get out of my house. I was like, okay, all right, I'll try it. So turn in the paperwork. The next day, he was like, final exam is next week. Do your best on it. It brought my grade up to, I think, a 76, right? So I was passing the class. Now all I had to do was pass the final exam. So, take the final exam. I'm sitting at home. You know, I'm playing some, what was that? 2014. What Call of Duty came out in 2014? I think it was no. What Call of Duty came out in 2014? I know 2015 Black Ops 3 had came out, but I was already graduated when Black Ops 3 came out. So, whatever Call of Duty I was playing, it was the Call of Duty of that year. And yeah, so I was playing the game, and all of a sudden I get a alert on my phone saying that the final grades were posted and that I could go on my phone and check it out. So I go on my phone and I check it out, and I passed the final exam. Get this, by one question. I barely passed the final exam, and at that point, my graduation was as set in stone as, the coronavirus memes going around, right? So yeah, I almost dropped out of high school because I was failing math. So pretty crazy story there. I'm glad I didn't give up. I'm glad I showed the perseverance to go home and finish that packet that my math teacher gave me, and just show the perseverance to get it done. I tried using the I can't talk. I tried using the ICR for this gameplay right here, but it just wasn't working for me, man. I don't know if it's the map with people rushing around with VMPs and SOGs and all that other good stuff, but the damage just doesn't do it for me, man. It's not good. The ICR, I mean, yeah, if you're playing on a map like Slums or Arsenal or any long-range map, it's good. But when you're playing on a map where people are using shotguns and SOGs and VMPs and all that, it's not really good. But like I said, I'm glad that I showed the perseverance to go home, do that packet, and take the final exam, right? So at this point, we're down by 12 in the gameplay. I know what you guys are probably thinking, why don't I ever show my losses? I have shown my losses on the camera, or not on the camera, on the gameplays, some of them, but they have to be really good losses. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have to drop 50 and lose. I'd rather drop 50 and lose and show a gameplay than drop like 20 and lose and show a gameplay. You see what I'm saying? So yeah. I have to show out on a losing end to showcase a gameplay that I lost in, right? So yeah, that was the second story, or the third story about me almost quitting high school because of my math classes. What's the next story I have to tell? Okay, so this is another story about my ex's mom showing me her gun. That's right. So, I'm gonna try and keep this as PG-13 as possible. So, I'm sitting at home, you know what I'm saying? Summer 2015 or whatever else. I'm playing Black Ops 3, and you know, me and my ex were talking at the time, and you know, I'm playing Call of Duty, you know, minding my business, barbecue sauce on my titties or what, mind you, and all of a sudden, you know, her mom shows up, and she's like,
Assault
Jordan,
packs down. Come get
let's
it.
take a ride, and I'm like.
UAV standing
At this
by.
point, I'm an 18-year-old, you know, young teenager who
Hellstorm available for tasking.
just didn't really know what was going on at that time. So,
Double kill.
you know, she calls my mom, and we take a ride down the road, and all of a sudden she pulls over, and she pulls out a gun out of her, you know, her glove compartment, her middle piece, right? And she sits it down on the middle compartment, and she's like, Jordan, I love my daughter, right? But if you hurt her, I will hurt you. And meanwhile, my mom's sitting in the back seat, right? And at this point, I'm, you know, kind of worried about what my mom's gonna do. I'm kind of worried about what my ex's mom was gonna do. So at that point, you know, she sits the gun on the console or whatever else, and all of a sudden my aunt pulls up, and she's got a gun on her too. She later told me that she actually had her gun sitting in her lap.
Ice pick online. Scanning for open
And
ports.
it was like, wow. Like, it was about to be like a Mexican standoff or something like that. Pretty crazy story. But yeah, so I guess my ex's mom thought I was having, you know, sexual relations with her daughter at that point, which we weren't. That would come later on in the relationship. But that's besides the point, right? Trying to keep it PG-13 on the channel. Don't want to be copyright strike. So there we go. Next story.
Assault packs down. Come get it.
Getting enlisted, right? So around
Recon down.
And these stories aren't in chronological order, okay? So I'm kind of jumping around, you know, as I go along. Y'all remember when we were down 12 in the gameplay? Now guess what? We're up 13. See what I'm saying? How you can take out a really good class setup and really wreck the other team's butthole. You see what I'm saying? It's fantastic. I love it, right? So, around April of 2015, I want to say it was, I was, you know, talking to my mom, and she's like, alright son, you know, you got, you know, an ultimatum, you know, once you graduate high school, right? I was like, okay, let's hear it. She was like, you got several choices. I was like, okay. She was like, you can get a job. I was like, okay, you know, being a teenager, we don't really want to work, we're lazy, right? She was like, okay, you can go to college, right? I was just like, you know what, I don't want to go back to school. I just got out of school. I don't want to go to college, right? She was like, you can join the military. I was like, that sounds, you know, roughly down my alley. And then she was like, or you can get out. I was like, cool. So I get on the phone with an Army recruiter, active duty, right? So he's like, well, I'm going to go out there to the school, and, you know, we're going to talk, you know, about enlisting you. A couple of weeks later, he doesn't get up in contact with me. He says I need to gain some weight. I was underweight when I actually joined the military. Still am underweight regardless. But yeah, so joined the military. You know, after gaining my weight, we'll talk about that in a little bit. 46 and 14 for this gameplay right here. Using the VMP, got the sniper's nest still in the sky for some reason. But yeah, crazy gameplay with the VMP, 46 and 14. And I got one more gameplay to show you guys. And after that, we're probably going to wrap up the video there with a couple more stories. But yeah, so he doesn't get in contact with me. I'm like, well, you know what? The Navy recruiter doesn't like me because of all the stuff I post on Facebook back in the day. I was posting stuff about girls. I was, you know, I mean, look, being a teenager, you're going to post stuff about females, alright? That's just what you do. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna do it, alright? Posting stuff about girls and, you know, smashing them or whatever else, whatever have you. And where was that? Which gameplay was that? Okay, so I already showed that one. So this is the one that I need to show. So, yeah, so I was like, you know, I'm not gonna join the Navy. I'm too dumb for the Air Force. Active duty Army didn't accept me because I'm underweight. I tried the Marines. He said, you know, he'd get me in there. But he said I needed to gain more weight. Gain that weight. He still didn't keep in contact with me. I was like, I don't want to join the Coast Guard because the Coast Guard is lame. No disrespect to the Coast Guard out there, you know what I'm saying? They hold down the borders or whatever else. So I was like, you know what? Let me try National Guard. So I, you know, just so happens that I have a National Guard armory literally 5 minutes from me. And I call up there and I'm like, hey, I'm trying to get enlisted. He was like, alright, come down after school one day and we'll talk. So I go in the office, I talk to him. Cool dude. You know, his name was Sergeant Mary. He's actually gone now. I think he went to Minnesota or something like that. But he got me in there.
Team deathmatch.
I got denied. I think it was
Make the
like
theater
3 or
yours.
4 times. You know, I had earwax in my ear. They sent me back for that. I had to take me back for that. I had to get a wave on my eye because I have what you call exotropia, which is basically a lazy eye. So if you know you happen to stumble across my numerous amount of vlogs that I have on the channel, you'll see it. You know, if you guys want to hear the story about that, I'll tell you guys in a little bit about why my eye is like that. So the 4th time I come back, I get enlisted. After 4 times, you know what I'm saying? I finally have my field of joining the United States military and actually, you know, serving my country, right? It's kind of like Captain, you know, America. He said I didn't get super soldier serum. I just got denied several times because of my lo and behold, I obviously joined the military in November 2015. You know, I received a call around February or March of 2016. It was my sergeant who enlisted me, or who got me signed up. He was like, hey, Lowry, you want to leave earlier for basic training? I was supposed to leave August, but, you know. I was like, you know what? Let's leave early. Why not? Let's leave early. Get it done with. Get back home early. We do it. We got it. So, I ended up, you know, taking that request early. Like, alright, you're going April 26th, then you come back around August time frame. So I was like, cool. So,
Enemy UAV above.
spent the last few months with my mom and all of my family. Left April 26th. Went to basic training. Had a lot of ups
care
and
package
downs. Probably more downs than ups or whatever else. I got recycled, which means you had to restart over from the point at which you failed. I didn't really, you know, want to tell a lot of people that because they, you know, probably think I'm stupid. But my job is really complex. You don't really know what you're doing. You might get caught lacking out here in the streets. But anyways, that's besides the point. So yeah, got recycled, got sent back, ended up passing the thing that I actually failed, scored like a 280 on my PT test, my last one. Probably the best out of everything.
UAV available for tasking.
As I get the triple kills.
In the turn, sensors are capture your objective.
So yeah, ended up graduating, headed home October 7th,
Threat down.
2016, and around that time frame, you know, hurricane just getting started up.
Snipers
I'm on
have
the
maneuvering.
plane, wild.
Hellstorm available for tasking.
But yeah,
UAV
that's
energy
basically the
50%
little
depleted.
military journey I've taken.
Headshot.
And then obviously,
Come get
I
it.
made it to my unit.
Hellstorm, goodbye.
Now, I get 3 assists right there. That was wild. Like,
Clean kill.
glad I got the points for it. And right here, I think I almost dropped 3 sniper's nests this game. I was fighting
Commencing surveillance operations.
Emergency time clock running down.
Yeah, so January 2017, I got to my unit. It was my first drill. Everything was crazy.
Target scoping in.
The body. And yeah, drill was canceled because of the weather. It was like snowing, and we were at the range. And they didn't want us there. I get promoted. I think it was January, February. No, I got promoted before I went to my drill, so I was a PFC when I got there. I ended up getting promoted, I want to say October of 2017. So I've been a specialist for like 3 years. I know a lot of people are gonna be like, oh my God, Lowry, you're a bum, But I feel like specialist is, where I want to be. Specialist, especially high speed specialist, can be really beneficial to the team or whatever. So I may go to school to be a sergeant. I don't really know yet. The whole coronavirus situation going around. My schooling may be pushed back. My mom has cancer. Lung cancer.
Establish lightning strike above.
Just that situation
Get it.
in and of
Everyone
itself,
get what they need?
really caused my future to kind of take into effect. So, yeah, and now, we're 5 years, going into 5 years of my military career, and this has been absolutely phenomenal, and I've had the time of my life. So, there's that. Alright, story of my first time getting a tattoo. Right, so if you guys don't know, I have 4 tattoos. I got a
Don't be
Bible verse,
complacent.
I got
Finish
2
the
Latin
mission.
verses, and then I got my mom's name. So we were in Fayetteville, North Carolina, which is roughly around like Raleigh, North Carolina. That's probably the metropolitan city that's closest to us, if you will. And going to the mall, I'm looking to buy some new shoes or whatever. It's not bad. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I was looking to get some shoes, right? And we're sitting in the mall, and mom's like, all right, so you got everything you need, like everything you want, I'm like, yeah. I was gonna get a tattoo though. I'm talking to my mom. I was like, I was gonna get a tattoo, but I don't know, right? So I was like, but I think I forgot my ID. And she was like, oh, you're a little pussy, right? My mom called me a pussy, so I was like, oh no. So I get back in the car. We're about to drive home, right? So all of a sudden,
First
she
think
finds
twice
my
before trying
license,
that again.
in the car, and she said, so do you want this tattoo now? And I was like, you know what? Turn the damn car around. Let's go get this tattoo, right? 49-5 for the final gameplay. I hope you guys enjoyed that gameplay with the Galil, with the suppressor. I think I had a hybrid mag on it and the reflex sight, I want to say. I'll show you guys the class setup if you guys want to use it. So yeah, we turned the car around and we head back to the tattoo shop, and I'm like, look, I want a tattoo, get me in the chair, let's do it, right? So my first tattoo was my Bible verse tattoo, my Philippians 4:13 verse, which is basically a Bible verse where it says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That just has been my whole narrative throughout my life. And I wanted to get it tattooed on me, so that was my first tattoo. I got it on my left arm, and it was a pretty cool story, because I didn't really, know that it was gonna change my whole aspect on tattoos forever, but it did. So yeah, that was pretty crazy. So yeah, this is the class setup. I'm gonna show you guys the 3 class setups that I used in each of these videos or gameplays or whatever. But yeah, and then, you know, a year after me getting this same tattoo that I'm talking about, I went on ahead and got 3 more within the same day. And that's my story about my tattoos, right? So yeah, we got the Galil, the grab or whatever. You got the reflex sight, the grip, you got a suppressor, and you got an extended mag on there. My fault. Do they even have a hybrid mag for this? No, they don't. You could slap grip 2 on there, but I feel like grip 2 is a little overkill. The suppressor kind of reduces the muzzle flash, and it, you know, kind of helps you stay more accurate. So I feel like grip 2 is kind of unnecessary. And then you got the extended mags because, you know, 35 rounds is enough, but when you got 55 in the Galil, you're straight. Using the stem shot as my gear here, you can use acoustic sensor, body armor, if you're weird, equipment charge, whatever. Scavenger, gung ho, dead silence is my main 3 perks that I run all the time. Not gonna even say them for the next 2 class setup videos or whatever. So, and obviously the grab is courtesy of the primary gunfighter wildcard. Alright, so the next class setup, my BMP. So yeah, got 4 tattoos now, and that was the story about how I got those, right? Another story. So, Hurricane of Florence. I want to say, was it Hurricane Florence? No, Hurricane Dorian, the one that just happened this year, or last year for 2019, right? So, my sergeant was, you know, trying to figure out, or he was trying to call people and ask who would, you know, go off and do state active duty for the hurricanes, right? So I was like, sure, I'll do it, you know what I'm saying? I could use the extra money, and, you know, plus it, you know, would be good to have on my record that, you know, I actually volunteered for it, right? So I volunteered for it. Don't really know what I'm getting into because the trajectory of the hurricane didn't really necessarily hit where I live at in North Carolina. It hit the Outer Banks, which is where, you know, all the water is, like Cape Hatteras and stuff like that. Ocracoke Island, to be specific. So yeah, so we went from Rayford, which is where I live at now. We went from Rayford, North Carolina to, I think it was, where was that? To Elizabethtown. Then we went from Elizabethtown to Clinton. And then we went from Clinton to Ocracoke Island, which is where the hurricane actually hit. And it was bad. It was like really bad. The fish were actually on the street, like fish, like the actual freaking fish, and it was smelling really bad. People had their furniture moved outside, and cars were flooded in the streets, and you know, the night before we actually got on the island, we had to sleep in a prison. I slept on the ground in the prison. It was an abandoned prison, by the way. So it was conditions weren't the best. Flash forward into the story, right? It's day, I think, 5 or 6 of the active duty you know, stuff that I'm on right now. And so our orders got extended. I think the rest of the guys, they stayed out for like 2 weeks, I think it was, 2.5 weeks. And, you know, my mom, her health is really bad. So, our sergeant, he was like, hey, if anybody needs to go home right now, let me know, so that way I can have, you know, your orders cut or whatever, and we can try and get you back home, right? So I was like, you know, my mom, she's in a bad situation right now with her health or whatever, and I need to be home where she's at, right? So, you know, they got my travel arrangements set up, and I'm heading back home, right? So I'm thinking, you know, they're gonna probably get me a Humvee to, you know, get out of here with. They're probably gonna, you know, drive me to the ferry to get me off the island, and then, you know, drive me back in a Humvee. Or they're probably gonna drive me back in an LMTV, which is like a really big vehicle, right? No, it was neither one of the two. I literally got to ride in a Black Hawk helicopter. Yes, you are not hearing me wrong. I actually got to ride in a Black Hawk helicopter. And it was my first, well, it was actually my second time. The first time I rode in a Chinook helicopter, which is the one with the 2 blades in it. I rode in that at basic training, which was really cool, really fun experience. And got to ride in a Chinook the Black Hawk the second time. We got 2 people watching the video. What's up? I appreciate y'all stopping by. But yeah, so got to ride in the Black Hawk, and I have the video on my phone, but I don't really want to share it because, you know, I don't really want a hacker to come across, or a terrorist to come across, you know, technology that the U.S. possesses, if you will. So, I'm probably never going to show that video, but I actually have a video. Maybe one day I might post it, maybe, but we'll see. We'll see. Matter of fact, if this video gets 5 likes, or if we get 20 views on this video, I'll post it. Why not? So, yeah, got to ride in a Black Hawk. It was really cool. It was something I'll never forget, and, it's something I'll cherish for a lifetime, riding in a Black Hawk. And yeah, it was one of the more cooler stories I've probably told today. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the story time though. I hope you guys enjoyed it though. If y'all did, don't forget to click that like button, and also subscribe to the channel if you're new. Turn on your post notifications so that way you don't miss a video when I upload. VMP, Elo sight, stock, fast mags, grip. Then we got stem shot, my standard 3 perks that I use, and primary gunfighter 1 is what made all these attachments possible in VMP. And then for the, where was it at? So I used, I think, the VMP twice, I think. I did have a gameplay with the Vapor XKG Mastercraft right here, the Vampire Hunter one. This is probably the dopest Mastercraft in the game, other than the Kuru Maku KM57, which, if you guys haven't seen that one, I'll go ahead and show y'all that right now. This thing right here, I wish I can preview it, but I can't. But yeah, it's just got like Japanese flowers on it and everything else. And it's absolutely dope, dude. This thing is slaps. Maybe when I get my 50 reserve crates, I might go on ahead and get it, or see if I can get it out of, what is it, my, crates. So I'm gonna see if I can get it out of that. But I hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay though. If y'all did, don't forget to click that like button. Also subscribe to the channel if you're new. You know, turn on your post notifications, all that other good jazz. Stay safe out here, man. I will tell you guys this until the coronavirus, maybe even after the coronavirus is going away, right? Pretty sure as we're speaking right now, the United States government, all of the medical agencies, you know, whether it be the CDC, FEMA, you know, all of these disease control specialists are trying to find a cure for the coronavirus. And at the meantime, man, we gotta take care of ourselves, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Spartans and Spartanas. This is exactly why you wash your hands, you wash your food, you know what I'm saying? You clean your food off before you eat it, especially meats, right? Your chicken, You know, your pork chops, your lamb, whatever it is that you eat, wash it off. Please, wash it off. For the love of God, right? Lord forbid we get something worse than the coronavirus, and this is something that can't be cured. You see what I'm saying? So take care of yourselves. If you're feeling sick, go see a fucking doctor, man. Go see a doctor, damn it. Excuse my language. Go see a doctor. Alright? Get yourself checked out. Quarantine yourself. Don't go around your family, you know, telling them about how hot your breath is. Alright? Because if it's hot, they're gonna tell you. Alright? You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna get them sick, and then they're gonna get other people sick, and it just causes a cycle, you guys. So stay safe out there. Cover your mouth when you cough. Yellow is evil, so don't drink your piss, right? Simple stuff. But y'all stay motivated, stay dedicated. Always have that Mamba mentality, man. Rest in peace to Kobe Bean Bryant. And I'll check you guys out in the next video. Peace out.